Good afternoon, everybody. It's Katrina from the Alluring Bead Boutique, and I'm here today to do a separate little tutorial that's not really part of my series I've been working on for mastering our basic skills. But I wanted to do something to celebrate Valentine's Day as a kind of like reward to myself and everyone else who's been helping me try to reach my watch time hours goal for my YouTube channel. And I did a video class on making the brooch for my Skillshare channel, which if you'll use the link that's in this description box below, you will get 2 free months of premium access to not only my videos there on Skillshare, but everyone else's there also. It's a pretty good deal. So if you want to check out how to make this brooch, you can head on over there. But today I want to show you how to make the earring component. I haven't added my earring finding to it yet, but I have it completely ready here to go on. So let's go ahead and talk about what we need to make this project. You're going to need 2 6mm glass pearls, and these are Preciosa's ruby pearls. And you can use either or for this next part. You're going to need some crystals here, and I used crystal bicones here for the brooch. And for the dangle, these are 6mm light cyan. I don't have any more 6mm bicones. So what I'm using instead for my drops on the earring are these beautiful little faceted ovals. And I'm pretty sure that they are a check glass faceted oval. And they're pretty close to the light cyan. So I'm going to be using those. And they are, give me just 1 second here. Let me do a quick measurement on how long they are. And these beads are 10mm long. And then at the fattest part, they are approximately 6. So that's just an oval. You're going to need 8 super duos. The ones I'm using came out of this blend that I got at AC Moore, and it is the Poppy Fields color. And it is the bright red ones that are in this mix. So you need 8 of those. You're going to need some 11OC beads, and I'm using Toho galvanized aluminum permanent finish. You need some 8OC beads, and I'm using check glass silver lined ruby. And then you're going to need 8 of either O beads, or you can also use, I'm using these little 4mm spacer beads that I got at Joann's. They're 4mm on the outside diameter, and they're silver. It's kind of like a daisy spacer, only the hole is quite a bit bigger in the center, and it doesn't have as much adornment here. It's just little ridges like that. And they're really pretty. I've used them before in a couple of things, and I like the way that they look on this particular project, and then also on the brooch. This adds a really pretty touch. All right, so once you have your materials out, come back over and we will get started on the project. Alright guys, so I'm back and I'm ready to get started. And the following sequence of bead is what we're going to start with. We're going to start by picking up an 8O, one of our O beads or spacers, an 8O, and a super duo. And we're going to pick that up for a total of 4 times. I started out with about a yard of 6.006 fire line in white on my thread for my thread, and I'm leaving myself just a couple of inches of tail. And I'm going to pass back through all of my beads again, but I want to make sure that I'm going through the spacers, and I'm going through the same hole of my super duos that I went through the first time around. I'm going to grab a hold of my tail thread, then I'm going to pull my needle through and bring all of my beads into a circle. Then I'm going to go ahead and tie 2 overhand knots. My tail thread is exiting the first 8O I picked up, and my working thread is exiting the last super duo. So I tie 2 overhand knots, and I'm going to make sure that my knots fall in between those same 2 beads that my threads were exiting, so that I don't have any exposed thread showing. And now I came out of that super duo last, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through an 8O, a spacer, an 8O, and the very next super duo to move away from my knot. like that. And now we're going to add one of our pearls. So to do that, I want you to pick up an 11-0, a pearl, and an 11-0. So once I have picked up the 11-0, pearl 11-0, I'm exiting from the right-hand side of this, well, actually I have flipped my work. I'm actually exiting from the left-hand side of this super duo. I want to go through the super duo on the opposite side of the beadwork, and I want to go through the hole on that side from right to left. So when I pull my thread all the way through, my pearl and my two little seed beads pop into the center like this. Then we're going to pick up one of our 11-0s. We're going to come back through our pearl towards the other side of the beadwork. Hello, people. And come back through the pearl. And now we're going to pick up one more 11-0 seed bead. And we're going to look here to see that my first seed bead is on the left-hand side of that super duo. So when I take this 11-0 seed bead onto my needle, I want to come back through that super duo from right to left so that I position this second 11-0 seed bead to where it sits beside the one I already had in place. And this is what my work looks like. And so now, when I went through my super duo, I accidentally passed through one of my 8-0s, but that's okay. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pass on through that next spacer, 8-0, and super duo. You know, I want to pull that in through. I needed to be exiting a super duo. So now I'm exiting to the right of this super duo. I'm going to step up by coming through the outer hull of that super duo from right to left. So I'll be reversing directions, and I'm stepping up into the outer ring of my beadwork, like that. Now we're going to add some seed bead embellishments. We're going to pick up two of our 11-0s. We're coming out of the top left of the super duo. I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to pass through that next spacer bead, just like this. And I'll come right just through that spacer, so that when I pull my beads, they will sit like this. Then I'm going to pick up two more, and I'm going to come through my next super duo. And we'll repeat that till I've added two 11-0 seed beads between each super duo and each spacer coming around my my component that I'm working on. Get my tail thread out of the way. So now I've added two between that super duo and that spacer. So now I need to pick up two more, and we'll come through my next super duo. And like I said, we're just going to keep doing that until we worked all the way around. So I'm pick up two, and I'm going to come through my next spacer bead. Pick up two more and go through my next super duo. And now I have the last two sets of 11-0s to add. So I'll pick up two, come through my next spacer, pick up my very last two, and come through the super duo that I originally started from. And this is what my work looks like. But now I'm going to reinforce that entire ring of beads by passing through all of those beads again. And I'm going to make sure that I don't skip over any of my spacers. I want to make sure that I go through my spacers. And this is going to give a little bit better shape and make it look a little bit more polished looking as it does on this component. So I don't recommend that you skip this step. I do recommend that you take the time to go ahead and reinforce this whole loop of beads. And then I'll be right back and we'll move on. So now I'm back around and I've reinforced that entire outer ring of beads that I added here. And you can see that that gives a much more well-defined shape to this little crown look on this beadwork. And everything's looking really good. So what we're going to do is we're going to next connect downwards to make our second component. And in order to do that, we need to create a section of crossover beads here in the middle. I want you to pick up 5 11-0 seed beads and then a super duo. And let those drop down to the beadwork. Now I want you to pick up 2 more 11-0 seed beads. You're going to be working back towards the main component. So I want you to skip over these 2 seed beads and come back through that middle seed bead, working back towards this main component. And then pull. To where this is what you should have at this point. Now we're going to pick up 2 more of our 11-0 seed beads. And we are coming out of this side of the super duo here. Excuse me. We're coming out to the right of the, to the left of the super duo. So we're going to take our needle, once we've picked up 2 more 11-0s, and we're going to come back through that original super duo from right to left. And we've created this little crossover section of beads with our little super duo dangling off down here at the end. So now I want you to come through the next 2 11-0 seed beads. I want you to come through your next spacer. And then your next 2 11-0s. Then I want you to pick up 3 11-0s. We're exiting from the 11-0 here. Skip over top of your super duo and come down through the next 2 11-0s on the other side. We're making that little tip of beads right there to cover the corner of that super duo. So now we need to come through our next spacer bead. And come down through your next 2 11-0s. And now we're going to add our drop. So to add the drop, I want you to pick up, let me see how many seed beads I actually picked up here. Pick up 3 11-0s, an 8-0, your oval crystal, then an 8-0, and then an 11-0. So 3 11-0s, 8-0, your crystal, 8-0, 11-0. I'm going to let all of that drop down to our beadwork. Now we're going to skip over that 11-0. Just push it out to the side like that. And then I want you to come back down through your 8-0, your crystal, and your 8-0. And then pull and cinch this up to your beadwork. Just like that. And now we're going to pick up 3 more 11-0 seed beads. And we're going to come across the super duo and pass our needle through the 2 11-0s on the other side of that super duo. And now we've added this cute, beautiful dangle down here at the end. Come through your next spacer bead. Don't let your thread hang up on your dangle. And then come through the next 2 11-0s. And now we're going to add 3 seed beads on this side. So pick up 3. Jump over your super duo and come down through the 2 11-0s on the other side. So now we have really completed this bottom unit completely. So now we're going to work our way up to this super duo. So come through your next spacer bead. Yeah, I'm trying not to get into the 8-0, just the spacer. And now I'm going to come up through my next 2 11-ohs. And now I'm at this place where I can come up into my new beads I added to create my next component. So I'm going to go ahead. So now I'm going to go ahead and come on through this super duo to follow my thread path. Then I'm going to come up the 2 11-oh seed beads on the left hand side, right there, right before my middle crossover bead. Then I'm going to come through the crossover bead here at the center. Then I'm going to come up these 2 11-oh seed beads on the right hand side. And now I'm going to come from right to left through my super duo. And now I'm going to step up into this inner hole of this super duo. So my thread is exiting the hole here to the left. I want to go through the top hole from left to right. And now we're going to add this top component. I've got my work sitting here kind of upside down so you can see the flow of what we're doing. So now we're going to create this component. So to do that, we're going to pick up again. We're going to start with the 8-oh, a spacer bead, an 8-oh, then a super duo. 8-oh, spacer, 8-oh, super duo. Then 8-oh, spacer, 8-oh, pick up our last super duo, but one more time we have to pick up the 8-oh, the spacer, and the 8-oh. So we'll have 4 spacer beads here. We'll have 4 sets of 8-ohs and spacer beads, and 3 super duos, because we already have this super duo that is part of our new unit. So I'm coming out here to the left when to the right where I picked up my beads. So now I'm just going to pass back through the same hole from left to right. So then when I pull, this is what I have, which is the same inner circle we created on this component. But now I want you to reinforce all of the beads that we just added in this round and make sure that you don't skip over any of your beads or you don't skip any of your spacers. So make sure that you go through your spacers as well as all of your beads. And when you come back around, you should be exiting from the same super duo that we started from. Just like that. Pull it nice and snug. And so now we're going to add our pearl. So we'll do it exactly the same way we did before. We're going to pick up an 11-oh, our pearl, and an 11-oh. I'm just going to go ahead and let those drop off my needle. So my thread is exiting to the left of this super duo. So I'm going to come through the super duo straight on the opposite side, but I'm going to come through it from right to left like that. Just like we did before. So then when we pull, our little pearl and our seed beads sit on, like a crown on top of the component. We're going to pick up an 11-oh. We're going to come right back through our pearl. So now we're going to pick up our last 11-oh. Our seed bead here is to the left, so that lets us know that we need to go through our super duo from right to left. So that we position the second seed bead side by side. Like that. And so now we need to scoot over to our next super duo so we can step up. So go through your 8-oh, spacer bead, 8-oh, and that next super duo. And give your work a nice little snug pull like so. And then we're exiting to the right of that super duo. So we're going to step up through the outside hole from right to left. And now we're ready to add our outside beads, just like we did before. So we'll pick up 2 11-ohs. We're going to come through that next spacer. We're going to pick up 2 more 11-ohs. And we're going to come through the next super duo. But make sure that you're coming through the top hole of that next super duo. Pick up 2 more and come through your next spacer. And so forth, repeating between the super duos and the spacer beads, adding your 2 little 11-oh seed beads. So I have 4 more beads to add. So I'm going to pick up 2, come through my next super duo. Actually, I had 6 more to add. Sorry about that. Pick up 2 more. Come through my last spacer. And then pick up my last 2. And I will come through the very first super duo that I started from. Just like that. So now once again we're going to reinforce. So go back through all of those 11-ohs and your spacers and super duos. And reinforce that round of beads. And then meet me back. So I've reinforced my round to give my beadwork a nice firm shape. And I'm going to come back around until I am exiting these 2 seed beads right here. So here's the top super duo. I want to be exiting the 2 seed beads here on the left-hand side right before that super duo. Then I'm going to pick up my 3 11-oh seed beads. I'm going to skip over the super duo. I'm going to come through the next 2 on the opposite side and create that little tip of beadwork there around the super duo. Now I need to come through the spacer, the next 2 11-ohs, my super duo on the upper hole that's closest to my other component. We'll come through the next 2 11-ohs and spacers. If you'll notice how I turn my work as I'm sewing around the outside edge here. And now I need to come through those 2 11-ohs right there. So now I need to pick up 3 more seed beads and put my little tip embellishment here. So I'm going to pick up my 3 11-ohs. I'm going to skip over that super duo and come down to the next 2 11-ohs on the other side. And I'm going to go ahead and go through that spacer and pull those beads into position. So now I need to come up through my next 2 11-ohs here at the top of the beadwork. And let's take a look at how our beadwork looks. So this is what you should have at this point. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and end my tail thread from the very beginning. I tied knots and everything, and so that's a secure thread. We can get rid of that. So now we're almost finished, and we just need to add a small section of beads here at the top for us to put our jump ring through. And what we're going to do that is we're just going to pick up 2 11-ohs, an 8-oh, and 2 11-ohs. Just double checking my work. So I'm exiting from this 11-oh here on the right. I've picked up 2 11-ohs, an 8-oh, and 2 more 11-ohs. So now I'm just going to dive right down through the 2 11-ohs and the spacer bead on the left-hand side of this beadwork. And I'm going to pull those beads so that they sit in a nice little tip, just like that. Now I'm going to work my way back around the beads. So I'm going to come down through the next 2 11-ohs. And I'm going to cut through my super duo here instead of going through my tip beads. So I come through that super duo. So now I can reverse directions here. I'm exiting this hole of my super duo to the left. I'm going to go back through that bead in the opposite direction through the bottom hole, which is the hole that is closest to the center of my beadwork. And I'm push on through that 8/0 in that spacer bead. So now when I get over here, I need to come through this 8/0 seed bead and the bottom hole of that super duo, just like that. Pull, and pull my threads into where you can't see them. And now I'm just going to reinforce this little loop of beads here at the top. So I'm coming out of the super duo. Let me move my other earring out of the way. Here to the right. I'm going to pass up through the 11/0 seed beads on the right. I'm going to come through that 8/0 seed bead at the center. Then I'm going to come down through the 2 11/0 seed beads on the left, which I've been flipping my work around, so that once I get it all pulled back into position, this is what it looks like right here. Now I'm just going to move my way back into my beadwork so that I can tie some half-hitch knots and end my thread. So now I want to end my thread, and I am exiting from this 11/0 seed bead right here. I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come down through the next 2 11/0 seed beads and my spacer bead, working towards the next super duo on my beadwork. So now I need to come through 2 more of these 11/0 seed beads. And I'm having a really hard time with my light now because the afternoon light has shifted. So give me just a second here. So now I'm going to come through 2 more of my 11/0 seed beads. And then I'm going to tie a half-hitch knot. So I'm going to come under the thread bridge that is sitting between that inner set of 11/0 seed beads like that and my super duo. I'm going to pass my needle under that thread, and I'm going to slowly pull until I have this little loop sitting like that. Now I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to poke it right through that loop. And then when I pull, I'm going to make sure that my knot falls right beside that super duo. Just like that. Then I'm going to come through my super duo. And now I'm going to do one on this side. So I'm going to take my needle once again and just dig under that little thread right there. I'm going to pull nice and slow to form a small loop. Then I'm going to poke my needle right back through that loop. Then I'm going to pull and make sure that knot falls right there beside the super duo. And so now I can come on down through my next 2 11/0s here. Then I can come through the spacer. And now I'll come through the next 2 11/0s. And I'm back down to where my 2 components are joined together. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to reinforce this connection one more time. So I'm going to come down the 2 beads on the left. I'm going to come through the center crossover bead. Then I'm going to come down the 2 seed beads on the right. Make sure that my thread doesn't get hung up on the top component. So now that when I lay my beadwork down, I have a little bit of extra thread there in that crossover section that'll help prevent my beadwork from twisting around. So now I'm just going to come on down to the back side of my beadwork. So I'm going to pass through the next 2 11/0s here. And I'm going to pass through, I'm going to flip my beadwork around just a little bit, and I'm going to come in through that spacer bead. Just like that. Don't let your tail thread hang up. And then now I'm going to pass through, hopefully get into this 8/0 seed bead here. Just like that. And then I'm going to tie one last half-hitch knot by getting under the thread between that 8/0 seed bead and that super duo right there. Pull nice and slow till I have my little loop. Pass back through that loop. And then pull that knot down right beside that super duo. Now I can just come through the super duo in that 8/0. And I can end my thread right there, away from my knot. And so here is our second component, just like the first one. And now I'm going to take this jump ring and open it. I think this, once again, this is like a 5mm jump ring. Get my other set of pliers here. So I'm going to open my jump ring. And I'm going to finagle it through this 8/0 seed bead here at the top, like that. And then I'm going to close my jump ring with my pliers and rub them back and forth to create that friction so that they snap into place. And I know my connection is secure, like that. So now the only thing I have left to determine is what type of ear wire I want to use for my earrings. Whether it's a regular French ear wire, or if I want to custom make some with some of my sterling silver wire. If I were to use these, all I have to do now is open up this earring from side to side like this. Take my earring on the jump ring, hang it onto that little hook, and then make sure my earring back is closed up. Just like that. All right, folks, so that's it for today. I hope you loved my Valentine's earrings. I think they're really pretty. I love the way the brooch came out. If you do, please click like and subscribe. Subscribe to my channel. Head on over to the AlluringBeadBoutique.com and subscribe to the Bead Map blog and newsletter. And follow me on my social media, guys. And if you want to make the brooch, just click the link in the description box below. Head on over to Skillshare and get 2 months free. And you can take advantage of all the different classes I have available over there. And you won't have to pay for anything. All right, cool. All right, so thank you guys very much and have a great day.